This month, the Pittsburgh Opera is presenting its first ever performances of Haydn's spellbinding Aramida. It's a tale all about whether to chase love or follow your duty. The Prince of Darkness sends the enchantress Aramida to seduce and destroy the heroic knight Rinaldo. But as they fall in love with each other, both need to decide between obeying their orders or going with their hearts. Plus, there's a revenge plot to make things extra exciting. Fall into Aramida's clutches from January 25th through February 2nd. That's Pittsburgh Opera. Where can we take you? Learn more at pittsburghopera.org/citycast. CityCast Pittsburgh is supported by Fulton Commons. If you're looking for a gorgeous co-working space with lots of light and some truly wonderfully funky decor, check out Fulton Commons on the north side. The historic but very well renovated old school building is deep in the neighborhood by a park, tucked away but still super close to anywhere you want to be. They've got offices and common spaces. It's perfect for organizations or individuals, and they even have a shared food production kitchen on site. So there's lots of food-related events for their members. If this sounds like your dream co-working space, visit fultonpgh.org to request a tour.
Today on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you need a pick-me-up on a dreary and windy day, one of the best ways to warm up is with a cup of tea from one of our city's many tea shops. And I know the choices can be overwhelming because seriously, some of these shops have hundreds of options. But luckily, we found a local quiz to match you to your perfect sip. Plus, we've got new restaurants opening up all around town and one fried chicken chain bringing Pittsburgh abroad. It's Thursday, January 23rd. I'm Sophia Lowe, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. I'm with our team's senior newsletter editor, Francesca DeVecco. Hello.
Hey, Sophia. It's so cold out. We have to warm up.
I know. I'm very excited to talk about tea in a second. But first, my favorite question of the week. What is the best thing you've eaten or drank?
So mine is a drink, and it is the Sorel from Jackworth Ginger Beer that's out in Larimer. This drink is made with their typical fermentation process with the ginger beer, but it has cloves and crushed allspice. It's just like very cozy and warm for this time of year.
Yeah, that sounds really yummy.
What have you been eating good lately?
My tastiest thing is probably just Teppanyaki Kyoto. It's a restaurant in Highland Park, Japanese food. I got a bunch of things. Like I tried katsu and noodles. But honestly, the thing that really surprised me was the veggie tempura.
Ooh.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like veggies kind of sneak up on you sometimes, but they were really well fried, lots of flavor. Like, I would eat so many veggies if they were all deep fried like this.
Yes, if only. Good to know. I've not been there. I'd love to try it. That sounds so good. Thanks for the rec.
Absolutely. Well, I have my fingers crossed that we are like done with the negative, freezing, cold weather. But, you know, even if it warms up, it is going to be winter for a bit. We are not going to be at like the high 60s just yet.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about some places in Pittsburgh where you can get a nice hot cup of tea to keep you warm. Francesca, this whole thing was your idea, so I'm going to let you kick us off.
Yeah. So I recently went to Bantha. That's in Garfield.
Yes. They're really cool. They have like Star Wars cantina vibes.
Yes. It's if you go in, it feels like you're in like a whole different world. Like there's these like little cozy caves, and their tea is just so good. There's a variety of options, and I highly suggest just like picking a corner and getting your hot cup and cozying up. But they also have a bunch of events, so you might surprise yourself. Like you walk in and there's like live music playing or comedy shows. When I went, there was an artist meetup, so it was popping. Like there were so many people there, so many creative minds in one space. And you can get creative with your picks for tea, but there's also the Bantha fodder, which is basically a combo of any and all of Bantha teas.
Oh,
so,
man.
A concoction, if you will.
That's real. I think that's really fun. I don't know. I guess that's like up to me about how fun it gets and whether it tastes good or not.
It's worth a try. Why not?
Yeah, totally.
Where are we going next, Sophia?
I'm going to hop over to Griffin in Bloomfield, so not too far away. They don't have a ton of seating here. You can just take your tea to go. But one thing I really love is just how good their selection is.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone at the counter, every time I've been there, has been super friendly. They're totally open to saying, like, we'll grab you a tea. You can smell it before you buy.
And giving you recommendations, too. If you don't know what you want, this is a great place. They'll just really help you out.
Mm-hmm. Some of my favorites is one blend called Summer on Ice. As you might imagine by the name, it tastes really good iced, but it's really good warm too. So if you want like summer vibes right now, highly recommend that. I also really like this lemon sencha and this chestnut tea. That's a black tea.
Ooh.
And I've been told that it has the same caffeine content as a cup of coffee. So I guess like watch out if you're trying to drink tea for the low caffeine. That's not for you.
This is what I need.
It's really good. It's so fragrant, feels like a dessert. And they also give you like discounts based on how much tea you buy if you're buying enough. And then you can also order online and get the tea shipped. I think this makes a really good gift. Usually I'll grab a couple bags when I go to visit people and give them tea. But if you need to send a gift, this is another way to do it.
I love that idea. I recently got a chai there, but I learned that there's like a billion chai options. And I was like, what's your favorite? That's always my go-to. Like, what's your favorite?
What was the favorite? Do you remember?
I think it was an organ chai, they called it. It was it was a little heavier on the cardamom, which I like. So yeah, I should have had that for our recording right now. I should have brewed it.
I was thinking about having a cup of tea for this too, but we're recording in the morning. I need my coffee first. Guess I could have gone with a chestnut tea, but
That's fair. So if you want to do some more tea shopping, you want to go over to Blue Monkey Tea in Squirrel Hill. This is another spot with a huge selection of teas. The website also has so many categories, so like you can go and browse there before you go to the shop. So besides shopping for different types of tea like green tea, black tea, they also have some suggestions for winter teas and Valentine's Day teas, which I thought was cool since that's coming up.
Valentine's Day tea?
Yeah, there's one called Chocolate Covered Kisses. That's a black tea with cherries, rose petals, chocolate chips, and cacao nibs.
I didn't know you could put chocolate in tea.
Me neither. This is kind of life-changing. And then there's one called Crime of Passion. And that's papaya and passion fruit.
That's cute. I'm into Valentine's Day teas now.
Yeah, I think, again, a great gift. If you want to try a bunch of different flavors, they have samplers. They've got, different samplers for the different types, like green tea, black tea, fruit teas, and variety packs. But if you really want to go big, they have a tea of the month option. That's a little bit pricier. It's $135, but 12 different teas. So kind of like a subscription.
Oh, cool. So sort of like a advent calendar type of thing. Get a little prize every month.
All year long. Yeah.
And another spot in Squirrel Hill is Dobra Tea. I really love them. They're a super cute tea house. It's really cozy. There is a ton of seating. So this is a place where you can buy tea, but also like sit there and enjoy it.
Yeah, and floor cushions.
Yes, there is all sorts of seating. So you can sit at a table, but you can also sit on the floor. I love sitting on the floor.
Yes.
They also offer like tea flights. So I think if you want to sample a bunch of things, that's a really good place to go. And they also have food like meze plates, hummus, sandwiches, sweet snacks like baklava and cookies. I think the last time I was there, I definitely saw like probably students like camping out and doing some work there. I feel like that's a nice place to do it.
Yeah, that's a good vibe.
And while we're in Squirrel Hill, I'm just going to do a quick shout out to some of the matcha and boba stores. Like, I know that's a little different than like the hot cup of like maybe unsweetened tea that we're talking about now, but tons of options in that area. There's a kung fu tea, a sauka. That's one of my favorites. Their fruit tea is absolutely amazing. And then Tiger Sugar, which I really want to go to. They have a bunch of like brown sugar boba. And then if you're more into matcha, there's Kyo matcha and Mecha matcha.
We're going to have to return to this, I think, when it gets warm out, because
I want the matcha ice cream, so now is not the time.
Yeah, we will return to this for sure. So heading out of Squirrel Hill, now we're going to go over to Millvale to Abe Voyanti. You may remember this as Tupelo Honey Teas years ago, but this spot, it's one of my favorites. They just have walls of tea. It's such a fun space. It's like right next to the Millvale Library, so you can actually get a cup of tea and then like go actually through the door from Abe Voyanti into the library.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't realize that.
So cozy, so fun. And this is really cool. They actually have a tea quiz online to match you with your perfect blend.
I took this. Did you?
Yeah, I did. What did you think? What did you get?
I thought it was really fun. So I found this when I was like poking around because I've never been to this shop, but you hype it up so much. And I thought this tea quiz was just such a creative way to help you find like a good blend. It's super quick. It's like 5 questions. Like they ask you if you want like a caffeinated tea or a non-caffeinated one, if you want something sweet, fruity, all that stuff. So I got matched with the Incline tea. So that was fun that they have like a local one. That's a yerba mate, and it's got like spearmint, peppermint, rose, cardamom. And then a Save Our Voice, which is an herbal tea with ginger, lemon peel, licorice root, and some more stuff. That one I'm a little more hesitant about because I don't like licorice, but I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a try. We'll see.
Maybe it would surprise you. I think that this is great because it's literally what they would ask you at the counter. If you're like, oh, I'm having trouble deciding, like, what should I go with? These are the questions they'd ask you. So it's a great tool. And then, like, you can use that to also help guide you, like, wherever you go, whatever tea shop.
Totally.
But since we're still in dry January and it's National Hot Tea Month, they actually came up with a recipe for a tea-based mocktail. It's called the Timber Fizz, and it uses their timber tea. It's a black tea with juniper berries, lavender, lemon peel, and licorice.
Okay, lost me at licorice again.
Well, I don't know. Some people love or hate, but again, it could surprise you. I think it's a fun way to celebrate the month. And you can even schedule a session with them to create a custom tea blend. So big fans over here. Go check out Abe Voyanti.
And then a couple more shops in the Strip District for tea include Allegheny Coffee and Tea Exchange and Presto George. So both of those are pretty coffee forward, but the stores also have pretty big selections of loose leaf tea you can buy. I feel like the Strip, you're probably doing some food shopping anyway, or if you're not, you should. It's so easy to pick up a little treat there.
Yes.
So stop by those spots if you love tea too.
Yeah, defer coffee and tea too. That's a good spot.
Today's show is sponsored by the Frick Pittsburgh Museum and Gardens and a new award-winning tour of their historic home, Clayton. It's called Gilded, Not Golden, and it's a new spin on the old Frick family stories. Yes, you're going to learn about the mansion and Pittsburgh's Millionaires Row, but this tour is not about oohing and eyeing over the possessions of a man who famously, notoriously, played a very big role in the Homestead riots and the birth of the entire American labor movement. It gives you more, the complexities of the man, his wealth, and exactly where it came from. If you've taken a Clayton tour before, it is time to return. So tour facilitators can take you back to 1892, the year of the riots, the year someone tried to kill Henry Clay Frick, and the year he mourned the loss of 2 of his children. Plus more on his corporate legacy, wealth inequality, and Frick's lasting impact on our environment. History is complicated, and that's what the Frick wants to share with you. The Frick's new signature tour of Clayton, Gilded, Not Golden, is now open for the season. Get your tickets and learn more at thefrickpittsburgh.org. Pitt men's basketball is back. this season with a great deal for families to enjoy Panthers game days together. The Family 4-Pack offers you 4 tickets to a game plus a $40 concessions voucher for only $125. That's like $30 a ticket, and then you get that free $40 concessions voucher to treat the entire family. The offer is available right now for the upcoming Pitt, Virginia game. That's on Monday, February 3rd at 7 p.m. at the Peterson Events Center in Oakland. My real ones know how much I love basketball, and Pitt men are killing it right now, y'all. They are near the top of the ACC standings with a fantastic record, and they're playing especially well at home, so you're going to get a good show. Don't miss out on seeing your Pitt Panthers in action this season with the Family 4-Pack deal. Family 4-Packs for the Pitt, Virginia game are on sale now at pittsburghpanthers.com/family4pack. That's family number 4-pack.
Do you plan your vacations based on whether you can speak the local language? With Babbel, language no longer has to be the barrier. I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast, and I went to Mexico City a couple of years ago with my girlfriend, who's a native Spanish speaker, so I just let her do all the talking, like all of it. I adored the city, and now I'm going to go back in a couple of months, but with my college roommates, who are a bunch of middle-aged men, none of us Spanish speakers. When I was younger, I might not have been bold enough to do that, but now I'm not anxious because Babbel has me covered. Thanks to Babbel, I know how to order a taxi, how to give directions, how to order in a restaurant, all the small and useful bits of language that make international travel easier. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons, handcrafted by over 200 language experts, get you to begin speaking your new language in 3 weeks or whatever pace you choose. And because conversing is the key to really understanding each other in a new language, Babbel is designed using practical, real-world conversations, especially the sort you need while traveling. Food, how to get places. Babbel's tips and tools are inspired by the real-life stuff you actually need when communicating. With a focus on conversation, you'll be ready to talk wherever you go. So I hope I'll see you in Mexico in a couple of months. Or, as we say, espero verte en Mexico en un par de meses. So let's get more of you talking in a new language. Babbel is gifting CityCast listeners 60% off subscriptions at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/CityCast. Spelled BABBEL.com/CityCast. Babbel.com/CityCast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
So we are kicking off our restaurant openings with one that is international. There are 2 Steelers-themed KFCs that are opening up in Mexico, one in Mexico City and one in Guadalupe. I know we usually stick with local openings, but this was too fun not to share.
Yeah, truly. Steelers Nation really goes far. These restaurants are bright yellow and they include information about Steelers history. They have jerseys on display. I hope they have terrible towels.
They must.
They have to. And there's a couple of NFL teams that have themed KFCs in Mexico. It's part of this like NFL effort to get more people into the sport, but I feel like they don't really need to because apparently there are a ton of Steelers fans in Mexico. But we actually saw reporting that the Steelers might play in Mexico this year, which would be their first international game in more than a decade. Their last one was in London in 2013. So really interesting. Good for timing and for those KFC fans.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I did not know that NFL teams played outside of the U.S., but if the Steelers go to Mexico, I hope they visit one of the KFCs.
Yeah.
I know there's like also Steelers bars in other places. Like, I think this was probably on Reddit. That's where I'm guessing I see anything goofy like this about a Steelers bar in Rome that has like Steelers Jesus, which is a Jesus statue with a Steelers helmet. Like, that is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, there are Steelers bars everywhere. I bet you could pick a state and find one there. Maybe that's a roundup we should do in the future. But back to local.
Yes, tell me what to eat here.
Yeah, so if you listened to our first food show of the year, you would have heard us talking about the restaurants that we're most excited to eat at in 2025. We made our list based off a bunch of like best of lists at the end of 2024, plus just looked at everything that was interesting to us. Anyway, if you want inspiration, check that out on our website at pittsburgh.citycast.fm. But one of those spots, mine, was a new opening, and it's called Q Ramen in East Liberty. So got to check that off my list earlier in the year.
What'd you order? What'd you get? Because this is also on my list.
Yeah.
I'm invested now.
Yeah, it was really good. It opened up in December, and I ordered the appetizers, the chili garlic edamame and the salt and pepper crispy corn. It seems like kind of like something that you could make at home, but I swear I've never thought to make corn like that. It was really good. And then I got the vegetarian miso ramen. It was all delicious. And inside, like the vibes are aesthetically very cool. They have this sort of honeycomb design theme, and there are like these little booth pods inside of the honeycombs on different levels. So it's almost like they're floating on the wall. Like you look at the wall and there's just like booths inside of like a bee's hive.
Like for people to sit in?
Yeah, it's really cool looking. It looks like you're kind of floating up there.
I want to request the tallest booth possible.
Yeah. Feels very fun. I know this is kind of like franchisey, but I just had to try it because I love ramen in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm. Well, something I have my eye on is Piola in Mount Lebanon for Uzbek cuisine. So one thing they serve is plov, which is the national dish there. So it's a rice dish with lamb, carrots, chickpeas, and raisins. Other things that look really yummy are samzas, like puff pastry filled with meat and vegetables, and lagman. So this is hand-pulled noodles with things like braised beef. I always appreciate a hand-pulled noodle.
Oh, yeah.
I tried making noodles last night, and like they are hard to pull.
Yeah, definitely. I've never had Uzbek cuisine. I'd love to try this. I feel like I'm seeing more opening around town. So this is good to know out in the South Hills. Back to East Liberty, though. Have you heard about Title IX, Sophia?
Yes, I have. Sports bar.
Yeah. I mean, you know me, I'm not that into sports, but I can really get behind women's sports. This is a bar coming in February. It'll be right next to Square Cafe. It's owned by the same folks. This will open up as a place for people to cheer on the girls. Mm-hmm. It's going to have cocktails, mocktails, local beers, and foods like handheld snacks. So like your bar vibes, tots and veggie burgers. And there's going to be some vegan friendly stuff too. I'm just really excited to cheer on some women's sports here. We're finally, we're a sports town, but we're finally getting a spot to really celebrate.
We got the women's soccer team, so lots of stuff happening in that area. Yeah. Very cool. And then I'm going to hop over to the north side now to talk about coffee and a new coffee shop there. It's called Brave Bean. So the coffee roaster's based out of Pitcairn. They're also veteran owned. So the cafe in Pittsburgh is what's new. A portion of the proceeds gets donated to charities that focus on helping veterans. That's included the Wounded Warrior Project. I'm not gonna lie though, the specials in Pitcairn look very, very yummy. They've got like a peppermint mocha, an almond butter shortbread latte, and then a caramel coconut latte. Pittsburgh also has specials, but it's like mocha and a hot chocolate. So I am hoping that they're going to get fancy specials once they've settled in a little bit more. This is definitely going to be on my list.
Yeah, I think they will. Just give them a minute to get settled. That's really close to the Warhol over there. So that would be a fun spot to try out when you go and hit up the museum.
Absolutely.
And then to round it out, Polska Laska just opened their brick and mortar in Sharpsburg. You may remember this pop-up. It was opened as a sort of catering spot, but now they're open and ready to serve folks Wednesdays through Saturdays, 11 to 4 p.m. You can go and dine in. There's also grab-and-go food, so lots of pierogi and other hot food. And you can get pierogi like by the dozen to go because, yes, we always need pierogi to go here in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. So, unfortunately, there's also some closings in town. Francesca, what should folks get to before they officially are gone?
Yeah, so there's been a handful of closings in Station Square. You might remember Joe's Crab Shack. And in a couple weeks, the Hard Rock Cafe is also shutting down. The last day is February 13th. So if you want to go see a show, do it while it's still here.
Mm-hmm. And then one more temporary closing is Soju in Garfield. They're closed right now because a pipe burst. It is that time of the year. It's super sad, though. TBD on when they'll reopen, but they've posted on their Instagram that they're planning to host some events and pop-ups, so keep an eye out there. They've also posted a GoFundMe to raise money for staff while the restaurant's closed. Their goal was $10K, and that was met really, really quickly, but, that fundraiser is still active, and you can find that online if you want to throw some support to all of the staff at Soju.
Yeah, we love Soju. Hope they make a quick return.
Absolutely. And then some upcoming food and drink events if you are hungry now and you want to taste something. So coming up this weekend is the Millvale Market second anniversary. So that's Saturday, January 25th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're going to have beer from Two Phrase, Italian treats from Sprezzatura. There's going to be live entertainment and then a store-wide sale. Yay for discounts.
Yes, we love that. It's a really cute shop on the corner there on in the main district. And while you're there, go get a cup of tea from Abbe Voyanti.
Good callback.
Yes. And since we're towards the end of January, I want to highlight an event coming up at the beginning of February. It is the best vegan soup in the Berg. This is on February 2nd. It's 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Vellum Fermentation. And you can go and sample soups, like all the vegan soups that your heart desires, and vote on your favorite. There's going to be live music, snacks, and dessert included. So go check that out. And if you need even more events, be sure to subscribe to the Hey Pittsburgh newsletter and visit our website, pittsburgh.citycast.fm. We're always finding the best events around town so that you can stay plugged in with your community and eat some tasty treats.
And right after this conversation, we learned that a bunch of Pittsburghers are up for James Beard Awards. These are super prestigious in the food world. So Fat Fisk in Bloomfield is a semifinalist for Best New Restaurant. Kate Lasky and Tomasz Skoronsky from Apteka, also in Bloomfield, are semifinalists for Best Chef in the Mid-Atlantic region. And so is Wei Zhu from Chengdu Gourmet in Squirrel Hill. Plus, all of these chefs have actually been nominated before. So the list of finalists will come out in April, and the winners will be announced in June. We'll be keeping an eye out then, and in the meantime, we'll be rooting for all these chefs and restaurants. That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you're a fan of food news, head over to our website because there is so much more. It's pittsburgh.citycast.fm, and we have so many more great roundups, including one about Pittsburgh's most romantic restaurants. So check that out and make your Valentine's Day reservations now. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you then! Sprezzatura. I got it? Okay.